Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of God, most beneficent, most merciful. This is a momentous occasion for the Islamic Center of Long Island for the launch of the Interfaith Institute of the Islamic Center. We are grateful to God who has shown us this day of celebration, and we honor Him. Islamic Center of Long Island has a proud history of interfaith work and initiatives. Congratulations to the members of the Interfaith Institute of Islamic Center of Long Island who have carried the torch of interfaith harmony on Long Island and beyond to a level of distinction that delivers the message of universalism brought by all the prophets of God and all the messengers of God. Al-Quran chapter 2 verse 136. So you believers say, we believe in God and in what was sent down to Abraham, Ishmael, Isaac, Jacob, and the tribes, and what was given to Moses, Jesus, and all the prophets by their Lord. Make no distinction between any of them, and we devote ourselves to Him.
In Nassau County and on Long Island for the last 30 years. Over that time period, I've had the opportunity to work closely with the Islamic Center of Long Island and many of its members. The physicians who are part of this community have been my teachers and mentors, have been my partners and friends, and have been my students. And together, we have worked to try to deliver the best health care to the community of Nassau and Long Island. Recently, I worked with the leadership of the Islamic Center on a community-wide project aimed at addressing advanced care planning for patients in the community. We have found that it does not matter what your background is, what your cultural background is, as long as you talk honestly and open with the community, we're able to reach them, able to create a dialogue, and able to improve the health care of folks throughout Long Island and throughout Nassau County. So it is pride and pleasure that I continue to work with and partner with my friends at the Islamic Center in bringing better health care and better health outcomes to the broad range of villages and towns and hamlets in Nassau County. And I'm pleased very much to be here with my friends. Thank you. Have a good night.
My name is Michael White. I'm the senior rabbi at Temple Sinai in Roslyn, and we have a long-standing, wonderful relationship with the Islamic Center of Long Island. We engage in many joint programs. We have broken bread together, we have studied together, we have shared in each other's holidays, we have learned together, we've brought our teenagers together so that they can get to know each other, and we've developed not only some wonderful friendships, but we've learned a great deal about each other's culture and customs and faith. And we've also learned that we share the same dreams for our families and for our community, that we often share the same challenges, and we have built bonds of mutual respect and mutual love with one another. And I know that the membership at Temple Sinai considers our relationship with the Islamic Center, this wonderful community institution, as one of the gems of our congregation's mission and program.
My name is Qamar Zaman. I am the chairman of the board of the Islamic Center of Long Island and a practicing cardiologist. Going back approximately 15 to 20 years ago, the Islamic Center of Long Island engaged in a dialogue with the Catholic community when we took part in the telecare program on the Muslim neighbor. With our Jewish friends from Great Neck, we were engaged in long sessions and multiple sessions related to interfaith harmony between the Jewish community and the Muslim community. A significant number of members of the Islamic faith have been involved in the Multi-Faith Forum of Long Island, including my wife, who is very actively involved in it. So we are very happy to host this program. We appreciate that you were able to take time out to join us for this program, and hope to have many more programs at the Islamic Center of Long Island. Thank you very much.
we are entering the area of the prayer. This is our mosque at the Islamic Center of Long Island. And as we are walking in the direction of Mecca, the Qibla. As you can see in the front, we have mihrab, we call a mihrab. That's where the person who leads the prayer will be standing. And all of us are facing towards Mecca. And the carpet, as you see, is designed in a way to make it easy for the congregants to stand in lines so that the lines are straight and they know which direction to face it.
Dr. Khan, one of the first things that strikes me is that the room, by comparison to a church or synagogue, is stark. Why is that?
When we are inside the mosque, we are in the presence of the Creator, and we want to minimize any and all distractions. So therefore, you will not see any decorations on the walls, you won't see any pictures on the walls. It'll be as simple. The tone of the paintings, the color will be earthly, will be toned down to get that kind of mental tranquility that you're really in communication with the Creator and nothing outside is going to distract you.
In a lot of ways, this is very similar, and the idea of a simple prayer place without images is very similar to the laws that we follow in Judaism.
Well, I noticed that when I went to your synagogue.
Yeah.
Can you explain the hijab for us?
Well, the Quran tells us that the believing men and the believing women should be modest and lower their gazes. And this is a way of being modest.
You know, in churches, in Catholic churches, you always see women with veils and head coverings. And it's also true in traditional synagogues that women will cover their heads as well. So this isn't just a Muslim thing at all. It really is all the Abrahamic faith.
I wanted non-Muslims to appreciate the power of this journey and the universality of the journey, because all of us really in our faith quests are looking to know God better. We're looking to know who we are and what's our purpose in being here on planet Earth and how can we improve our circumstances. And that's part of what this quest is about, and I think people could relate to that.
17 years ago, I met a rabbi, his name is Mark Gelman, and we formed the God Squad. You may have seen us on a show in New York or heard us on Imus in the morning or seen us on Telecare. Well, recently, Mark and I felt as though it was important that we extend that outreach religiously, that people have a right to see that religious leaders admire each other, work together with each other, are in harmony with each other. And we found the best way that that can happen is through friendship. It's going to somebody's house. It's walking across the street and meeting somebody in their own territory. And so we invited Dr. Farooq Khan and the Muslim community to come and to do a show which turned out to be our Muslim friends and neighbors. And it's an extraordinary show, and it's an example of exactly what Telecare stands for, and that is bringing people together. We've had a history of a number of years, but this was the biggest commitment you and I have made to each other in doing this show. Can you tell me what your reaction was when I first talked to you about it?
Father Tom, I was just thinking as I came to the studio about a year ago, last January, we met for the first time about this idea that you had. And here we are a year later, and you have already shown clips of what was accomplished. What did it mean to the Muslim community? To me personally, it was fantastic. It was just outstanding, a great gesture on your part. And the community is really appreciative, because what you have done is allowed the Muslims to talk for themselves without somebody else coming in and saying this is the way they are, this is what they believe in. Here you saw 4 clips. The first one was a visit to the mosque, and you cleared up so many misconceptions about what happens in a mosque. We answered questions like, why do you take off your shoes, the role of water in a mosque, and then the show brought together the commonalities of the synagogue and the church. That was the beauty of the show.
You know, obviously the tensions in the Middle East and the tensions in the war on terror have made it very difficult for the Muslim community. And what we really want to do is to to help address the simple truth that the only way that prejudice can grow is out of the soil of ignorance.
Absolutely.
And once people know that Islam is a wonderful religion, once they know that their Muslim neighbors are their neighbors, they're boys and girls and men and women who want the very same thing that everyone wants, and who believe in a world of peace and justice, and who believe in the same God that we all believe in. And once everyone understands that, I really think that prejudice and discrimination will disappear.
Rabbi, the beauty of this United States is that here's you and I are sitting in a Catholic studio and talking about our commonalities. I mean, where else can this happen?
Nowhere.
Nowhere, absolutely.
Nowhere. And what really has to happen.
Lynn Dobrin, and I am delighted to be here for the launching of this new center. Now, I happen to be a neighbor and somebody who has worked closely with the center over the years. I'm an ethical humanist, and we have had people from the center come and talk about Islam at our ethical society. But my connection goes even deeper than that. I write, and I live just down the road, and I love driving by here and looking at all the flowers. I'm a garden writer, amongst other things. So over the years, I've written about the center twice because the gardens out here are really stunning. And that's part of the care that I've seen at the center that people take with being a part of the community and being good neighbors. The other thing that I'm working on now with the center and with ISMA is I do work with the Adelphi, New York State Breast Cancer Hotline. We are a hotline that helps women and men who have been diagnosed with breast cancer. And we've been here once before to work with the women to educate them about breast cancer and to let them know what they can do and where they can get help for what they do. And we are launching another effort where some of the members here might become volunteers on our hotline. I find that the center is always receptive to ways to be involved in the community and to connect and to bring services to their members and bring things to the community from which we would all benefit. And I know we're going to benefit from this new center.
I'm Tom Goodhue, the Executive Director of the Long Island Council of Churches, and it's a joy to be part of the launch of this new Interfaith Institute at the Westbury Mosque. I've really enjoyed my contact with the Islamic Center of Long Island over the past 15 or 20 years or so. They've been great partners in the work that we do. We're the biggest ecumenical and interfaith organization on Long Island, and we work with people from many different faith communities. And the Westbury Mosque has just been wonderful partners in interfaith dialogue, interreligious education. One of the things I've really appreciated about the Westbury Mosque is the way in which they've been willing to tackle topics in a respectful way that can be difficult to talk about. In the dialogues that they have had with the Jewish community, they've started off with things that were easy, like how do we celebrate our holidays, but they've moved on to much more difficult and divisive topics of the Middle East conflict and the Israeli-Palestinian conflict and things like that that are often hard for us to hear each other and to understand one another. And I'm really hoping that this institute is going to do that in a whole new way, of help us to have dialogue that goes beyond simply us expressing our differences to really learning from one another in a whole new way.
My name is Stephen Markowitz. I am chairman of the board of the Holocaust Memorial and Tolerance Center of Nassau County. The Holocaust Center has had a long relationship with the Islamic Center of Long Island, and we have worked together on many mutual programs to teach tolerance to adults and young people throughout the community. There is so much concern about the growing Muslim population in the New York area and the United States in general, and it's so important that people get a chance to learn more about what Islam is all about and to learn how to live with and understand their Muslim neighbors. We have done programs on the experiences in countries like Albania, which is a Muslim country in Europe, that did terrific work in protecting its Jewish population during the Holocaust. We have had meetings at the ICLI, and the ICLI has come to our Holocaust Center. And the creation of this institute will only further the work in a world that's more troubled than ever, that we have to learn to get along here, and hopefully that'll have an impact on people getting along elsewhere as well.
My name is Thomas F. Liotti. I'm the village judge in Westbury, Long Island, and an attorney in Garden City, and an adjunct professor of law in the Paralegal Studies program at Nassau Community College. I'm here today in honor of the Islamic Center of Long Island and the Interfaith Institute, which has been launched, and it is a tremendous undertaking. This is a wonderful, wonderful event and a wonderful facility, all brand new and beautiful. And I just want to say that the center here has been working very hard to enforce First Amendment rights, freedom of religion, and to gain acceptance and interfaith with all of the religions in our county and in our nation. And it's a tremendous lesson for the rest of the world, because we have to overcome the image of some Muslims as terrorists and so on. That is not the case, but we need centers like this to change that image. And there's a bigger issue also that the center, I believe, is embarking on, and that's one of peace, worldwide peace. And if there's a lesson from the 1960s that might be learned here, this is all about organizing for the better, to create a better image for the Muslim people throughout